Jin felt trapped and hadn't left her home in months due to her fear of being unable to tolerate a sudden urge to urinate and possibly have an accident that would cause her embarrassment and humiliation. She stopped socializing, dating, and even stopped looking for employment because of the fear. And the more that she worried about it, the more she avoided facing her fear. Max was a medical student, and he was just beginning his rotations at different hospitals and medical settings, and he was experiencing frequent diarrhea and was even considering dropping out of medical school because of the problem. Now, urination or defecation urges, the urge to have a bowel movement, can be triggered by anxiety and create major distress and roadblocks in people's lives. Many people are just too embarrassed to talk about it or to even ask for help. And this can feel uncontrollable and can unfortunately develop into full-blown agoraphobia if it goes untreated. Now, if you can relate to avoiding situations and activities because you fear that you are not going to make it to a restroom, or feel embarrassed or worried about what others might think, or even have a fear of using public restrooms as well, you're not alone here. I made this video to help you. Bathroom-related fears and phobias are so common, yet shame and embarrassment keep people from talking about it or seeking help. In this video, I'm going to share some treatment suggestions. You're especially going to want to hear about what helped Jin. Now, even though this is a common experience, I do recommend having a medical workup with your medical provider, just to rule out any possible medical causes before assuming that this problem is caused by an anxiety response. First of all, why does this sudden urge to go to the bathroom happen when we're anxious? Now, if you suffer from an anxiety disorder, panic disorder, agoraphobia, social anxiety, or any other phobic conditions, and you're exposed to a triggering event or situation, you're activating your fear response, your fight or flight response. And this includes the activation of your sympathetic nervous system. Now, your fight or flight response is a natural physiological response. It's a survival mechanism, and it's designed to help you to run away from danger or prepare to fight. So your body is designed to release your bladder and bowel to run faster, because digestion is just not a priority when you're running for your life. So it's a very natural, automatic bodily process that happens when you're anxious. Now, even though we can't change your body's natural fear response, you can change what you fear. Now, your body is not misbehaving. Your brain is just getting it wrong, and it's misinterpreting something that is dangerous that is not dangerous. And your job then becomes one of training your brain that you're safe and you're not in danger and you can tolerate the situation. So how do you train your brain? Well, your brain learns explicitly by hearing and seeing information, like listening to this video. And your brain also learns implicitly through lived experience. So what kind of learning is best? Well, this is an ongoing debate in my field. But think of learning to drive or playing a video game. Do you learn best from watching and reading about it, or do you learn best from practicing and doing it yourself? Well, both types of learning have merits. In my opinion, the deepest learning comes from lived experience. Now, exposure and response prevention therapy, ERP, is the treatment I recommend for frequent urges to urinate or defecate, because it's designed predominantly to teach your brain implicitly through lived experience. So you create exposures, first in your home to gain confidence, and then in various triggering activities and environments where you learn that you can tolerate the urges. And at the same time, during and following your exposures, you're letting go of your avoidance and your safety behaviors. So let's look at Jin's ERP treatment as an example. Now, Jin's fear was that she would not be able to hold her urine, or she'd feel embarrassed if others observed her using the restroom too often. So Jin avoided leaving her home, avoided social activities, avoided work, and she also avoided, applying for a job. This fear had really shut her down. So she watched helplessly as her siblings and friends moved on with their lives while she felt trapped by this condition. Jin identified her compulsions as frequently using the restroom before leaving the house. And then she would also mentally check to see if she was sensing the urge to go. Now, her avoidance behaviors, included avoiding liquids, avoiding social outings, and sometimes leaving, as I said, leaving the home altogether. And if she absolutely had to leave, her safety behaviors included checking for bathroom locations ahead of time, bringing a change of clothes, and even wearing an adult diaper. Now, Jin never had an accident, but she still felt the fear that she may. So Jin completed a motivation and readiness for treatment exercise that I include in my courses, and was absolutely ready to do whatever she had to do to get better. So I knew at that point that she was going to be successful in treatment. A determined attitude is everything. Now, Jin and I came up with a list of exposures to help her build up confidence in holding her bladder, and mixed in exposures to increase her tolerance of embarrassment as well. She first worked on exposure experiments in her own home, where she learned how much water she could easily drink, how long she could comfortably hold her urine. Now, this increased her confidence tremendously, proving to herself that she could hold her urine for several hours. Now, Jin then began to practice a variety of daily exposures that included driving to various locations and outings while purposefully tolerating her urge to use a bathroom. Now, she also eliminated her safety behaviors while increasing her ability to tolerate the urge. Now, her exposures varied. They varied by the amount of liquid she would drink, the timing, the driving distance, the social activities included, and eventually she even added dating to her exposure list. Now, Jin's last hurdle was applying for a job. Her fear at this point in treatment was this fear of feeling embarrassed if coworkers saw that she went to the restroom, what she considered to be too often. So what Jin learned was, after she started working, was that once her brain learned that she could tolerate the situation, there was nothing to fear. And avoidance is what maintains the fear. So after a few days on the job, Jin no longer felt that fear, and without the fear, the urge to go just vanished. So I left you a link for a PDF called The 10 Things You Need to Know to Practice ERP. And to learn more about exposures, watch this next video where I go a bit deeper into practicing exposure therapy. Until next time, I'll see you in session. Take care. Bye-bye.